What's up, video editing friends? This week I decided I'm going to completely change up the content, mainly because I don't have any cinematic videos to share with you this week, so I decided instead I'm going to do something new. I'm going to bring you guys a Photoshop tutorial on how you can make your portrait photos look like these. Without wasting any more time, guys, let's hop into Photoshop. I'm going to show you guys how in under 1 minute I'm going to put a timer so I stay true to my word on the screen above. And I'm going to show you guys how to clear the skin, get rid of pimples, smooth the skin out in all just 1 minute, okay? I know it sounds like a lot, I know it sounds like it's going to take a while, but once you get good at it, I promise you it'll take about 30 seconds. It's so easy to do, guys. Before you know it, you'll be Instagram models. So let's get this on the roll, let's hop into Photoshop and let's get this thing going. So it goes without saying, guys, obviously you're going to have Photoshop if you're going to want to follow along in this tutorial. I provided a link down below in the description as to where you can buy Photoshop. Whether you torrent it or whatever you do, that's completely your business, guys. But get it, download it, and hop into Photoshop here with me so you can follow along. So now that we're in it, you're obviously going to want to open up a photo here to get started. So today I picked out, where is it? Come on now. There we go. This is the photo that I'm going to be working with. So now that you got your photo, you're going to want to look and you're going to want to decide, do you want to crop the image? Do you like how it is now? Personally, I like where it is, but if you were to crop it, you're just going to want to click this over here, the crop tool, not tool, and you're just going to adjust it to however you want it. Now, I don't like it like this, so if you want to undo it, you just push Command Z, back to where we started. Okay, guys, so now I'm going to zoom in, and next thing is to kind of look at the image and decide, is there any pimples, any blemishes, anything like this annoying blue dot here that I have no idea what this is, that has to go. If there is, which let's be honest, there's always going to be something, you're going to come over here and you're going to use, it looks like a band-aid tool, I believe it's called the blemish tool, spot healing brush, close enough, never said I was good at what I did. So now you're going to zoom in and you're just kind of going to go along just like I'm doing here and just fix up the skin. Now don't use the brush too big. It's going to look ridiculous. Go through and just try and keep it small. Don't go overboard here, guys. Obviously, the more time you spend, the better it's going to look, but you don't want to get carried away here and make it look like you got a weird rash. Now, one thing I'll mention, if you're trying to smooth the skin out, which is our end game here before actually uploading it into Lightroom, which is what I normally do, make sure that you go ahead and do this beforehand. If you go by after and try and get rid of pimples or blemishes or whatever it might be, it's going to look super weird. It's going to look like she has a rash, or he, I guess, whatever your model is. Just make sure you do it beforehand or it's going to look really weird. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit just because the end game here is to actually just smooth out the image in under 1 minute. Alright guys, so I'm happy enough with that. Like I said, obviously the more time you spend on it, the better your image is going to look. But don't get too carried away here, guys. Now obviously, if you're a professional photographer or you're trying to be even more professional portrait photographer, you're going to want to spend more time than I just did. And I don't feel bad about the fact that you're zooming in, just completely correcting somebody's face, because the reality of it is if you zoom in this far on anybody's face, you got something, all right? So don't feel bad. So let's put the timer up there and let's do this in under 60 seconds, guys. Let's smooth the skin out and make it just look that much better. So the very first thing you're going to do, I'm using a Mac, is push Command J. Now that duplicates the layer. As you can see over here, I've got 2 layers, and now we're going to inverse this layer. So you're going to push Command I. Now as you can see, it looks absolutely terrible. That's okay, just wait. It's going to get better, guys. Come down from the drop down menu and change the blending mode to vivid light. I know what you're thinking, looks even worse, but stay with me here, guys. So now you're gonna come up here to the top, click filter, blur, or actually you're gonna go filter, you're gonna go high pass, and set it to about 24. I know what you're thinking, like I have no idea what I'm doing, and truthfully I don't, but that's okay, follow along. Next, filter, blur, and then you're gonna go to Gaussian
5 hours later.
blur, and you're gonna change it to about 3. As you can see, it looks a little bit better. The skin is smooth, but in order to make it go back to normal, because obviously the whole thing here is smoothed, you're going to want to push Command and come down here and create a layer mask. And don't worry, because I did that wrong. Oh boy. Okay, so on a Mac, it's Option, and then create a vector mask. Now as you can see, everything's back to normal. Now in order to fix this up, make the smoothest come back on only the parts you want it, which is going to be, you know, the forehead, the nose, the cheeks, the chin, that sort of stuff. Don't go over the eyes or the hair. Keep in mind you only want this to go over the actual skin itself on the parts that need it. So come over and select your brush tool. I like to go up and change the opacity from 100 because if you go to 100 and you just start going wild here, as you can see, it just goes back to the disaster it was. So I like to change it to around, you know, 30 or 40 or whatever you're happy with, and just slowly start working over it with the brush. So just hold down, go over it. You know, we're trying to go crazy here, trying to fix it up, but at the same time, we're not trying to change the model itself, right? So come through and just slowly work away at it, guys. Like I said, it doesn't take long. There's not much to it. It's not much to it, and you can always go back over it. You can always change it if you go over the wrong spots. Fix it up. Now, if you were to try and fix the pimples afterwards, the skin is gonna look red. It's just not gonna look good, guys. That's why I said make sure you do it before. But as you can see here, there's some parts right here around the nose where it's coming in red. It's looking a little weird. Even there, it's starting to give shadows that you don't necessarily want. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with this. Now, let's say I went over somewhere I didn't want, which in some cases I did. You're just going to change this from the foreground color from white to black. And again, now maybe make it a little smaller, zoom in, you can get into more detail here. And just bring back those pieces that you didn't want to go over in the first place. So, you know, like a dimple there, a couple dimples, around the eyes even. It's completely up to you guys. I'm pretty happy with this now. I do just want to bring back the nose there because I don't like the fact that it looks like she has a red line. And there we are. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty happy with that, how that is. Just to show you guys, if you want to see how it looks before and after, you're going to push Command, and you're just going to click the eye icon here. Actually, no, you're not. I'm lying to you guys. You're going to push the Option and then push the eye icon. And as you can see, pretty noticeable difference. Now you could even go further and actually smooth it out even more here. Like if you were to change it back to white, make sure you're doing the right color here, the right foreground color. You can even go over it more. But like I said, try and keep it realistic, but you know, don't get too carried away, guys. So as you can see, before and after, and there you go. Completely different image. Takes less than a minute, especially, I know I might have been talking forever, guys, but once you actually know what you're doing, you've done it a couple of times, you don't have to follow along with the images here and follow along with my YouTube video. You can actually see it takes no time at all. When I do this and I'm not talking and, you know, trying to sound like I know what I'm doing, I can actually do this in, you know, about 30 seconds. So there we have it, guys. Now I would take this image, I would upload it into Lightroom and kind of adjust the blacks, the colors, and all that sort of stuff. You know, the reason why I love doing this is because if you follow me on Instagram, you can see that almost all my images have a faded look almost. That's what I like to call it, like a faded look, a moody look. And I do that by bringing out the blacks, and it just kind of makes it look faded. But if the skin's smooth, it complements it and it makes it look even better. Um, so there we have it, guys. Without me rambling on, sorry that I couldn't put out any cinematic videos this week for you guys, but I'm going to try and kind of bounce back and forth, because the truth is, to make one of those videos takes hours and hours and hours of time. Drive myself insane listening to the same tune like 50,000 times to get the beats right. So I'm going to try and do the best I can with the amount of time I have. But there we have it, guys. That's how you smooth out the skin. That's how you can achieve the pictures that I've showed you, or achieve the look that I've shown you in the pictures above there, in under 1 minute. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. And if you don't already have Photoshop, guys, just get it. Seriously, if you're going to get into photography, you need Photoshop. I suggest downloading or buying and subscribing to the Creative Cloud, because you're going to want Premiere at some point. You're going to want Photoshop. You're definitely going to want Lightroom. You might even get into After Effects, so definitely do it, guys. Thanks again. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.